Hello, of course I come, that is what you can have here, that they are all after me, of course, that is what you can have here, of course, darling, we're in 626, of course, darling, that is what you can have here, of course, darling, that is what you can have, that no one can against us, that they are running after us, of course, darling, that is what you can have, that you want to have everything. Of course, darling, that is what you can have here. Do you want to be on the cross and things like those? Of course, that is what you can have, and I'm not gonna let them. Of course, that is what you can have here. Of course, darling, that is what you can have here. That they are all after me. Of course, darling, that is what you can have. That if they wanna zombie Paris, they are all gonna die there too. That is what you can have here, darling. That is what you can see, that no one can against us, that they are all gonna be zombie Paris. Of course, darling, they are gonna die there. That is what you can have here. Of course, darling, that is what you can have, that I'm gonna be on the top. Of course, that is what you can have here. Of course, darling, that is what you can have, that they are all here trying to have everything. Of course, that is what you can have. They want to have a red devil champion or something like those. They want a red devil champion, of course, with a cross, of course, then pray. That is what you can have here. Of course, so I'm gonna play that no one can against me. So what are you gonna say? Of course, that is what you can have, that no one can against me. Of course, that is what you can have, that no one can against me. Of course, that is what you can have. They want a red devil champion, of course, then they're gonna have to pray. That is what you can have here. Of course, darling, that is what you can have, that no one can against me. That is what you can have here. Of course, darling. So come on, of course, darling, they are all after us, trying to shoot us. Of course, darling, that is what you can have, that I'm trying to have a normal life. Of course, darling, and they are all after us, trying to shot me, but they can't. Of course, darling, that is what you can have here, that no one can against me. So come on, of course, darling, that is what you can have, that if not, they are in 2-6. Of course, that is what you can have here, and they are all gonna pray, and I'm gonna shoot them. That is what you can have here, so come on. Of course, darling, that is what you can have. They are in 2-6 and they are gonna have to pray. Of course, they want a red devil champion. Of course, then they are gonna have to pray. That is what you can have here, that I'm gonna shoot with my gun. Of course, darling, that is what you can have here, that no one can against me, that I'm gonna go inside. Of course, darling, that is what you can have here. Of course, darling, that no one can against me. So come on, of course, darling, that is what you can have, that they have what they want. Of course, darling, that no one can against me, that they are in 2-6, they want a red devil champion. Of course, darling, then they are gonna have to pray, and I'm gonna shoot them. Of course, darling, that is what you can have here, that no one can against me. Of course, darling, that is what you can have here, that I'm on the top, and from the top they are not gonna shoot me off. Of course, darling, that is what you can have here, that no one can against me. Of course, darling, that is what you can have here, that I'm protecting the life. Of course, darling, that is what you can have here. Of course, darling, if not, we are gonna be in an era of darkness and things like those. Of course, darling, that is what you can have here, that we are gonna be in an era of darkness. Of course, darling, that is what you can have. I have to protect life. Of course, darling, They are in a 2-6 and they wanna pray, of course, darling, I'm gonna shoot them. I'm in the top and from the top I'm not gonna fall, of course, darling, on the top I'm gonna stay. Of course, darling, that is what you can have fear that no one can against me. Of course, darling, they wanna red devil champion. They are gonna pray, darling, and I'm gonna shoot them. Of course, darling, that is what you can have fear that no one can against me. So come on, of course, darling, that is what you can have fear that I have what I want. Of course, darling, that is what you can have that they are in a 2-6 and they wanna pray and I'm gonna shoot them. That is what you can have here. Of course, darling, no one can against me. So come on, of course, darling, that is what you can have that I'm safe. Of course, darling, and I'm gonna go inside and everything. Of course, darling, that is what you can have here. That no one can against me. That I'm on the top and from the top I'm not gonna fall. Of course, darling, I'm gonna stay high. Of course, darling, that no one can against me. That I'm gonna be so up. Of course, darling, that the switch you can have that no one can against me. Of course, darling, I'm protecting life because if not, we're gonna be in an era of darkness with 2-6. Of course, darling, we're not gonna could be against them or you're gonna be dumb. Of course, darling, I'm gonna choose 6 and they are gonna pray and I'm gonna shoot them and I'm gonna protect life.
Eureka Beats.
Of course, darling, that is what you can have here that they want to go up. Of course, darling, but they can't. Of course, darling, that is what you can have that no one can against me. Of course, darling, that they want a Christopher Red Devil champ. Of course, darling, they are gonna have to pray and I'm gonna shoot them. Of course, darling, that is what you can have that I'm protecting life. Of course, darling, that is what you can have here. If not, we're gonna be in an era of darkness. That is what you can have, darling. So come on, of course, darling, that is what you can have. That they're on a 2-6 and they wanna cross. Of course, darling, they are gonna have to pray and I'm gonna shoot them. Of course, darling, that is what you can have. That I'm protecting life. Of course, darling, that is what you can have. Of course, darling, that is what you can have. I'm not gonna let you drown. Of course, darling, that is what you can have. That they wanna choose 6 and they wanna cross and they wanna pray and I'm gonna shoot them. Of course, darling, I'm protecting life. Of course, darling, no one can against me. So come on, of course, darling, that is what you can have. That I bring my money here. Of course, darling, no one can against me. Of course, darling, I'm protecting life and that's what I'm trying. Of course, darling, that is what you can have. Of course, darling, no one can against me. That is what you're gonna have. Fear, of course, darling, that is what you can have. That you wanna Christopher Devil Red Devil champ, of course, darling, that is what you can have. That they are gonna have to pray and I'm gonna shoot them. That is what you can have here. Of course, darling, that is what you can have. So come on, darling, that is what you can have. That they are not 2-6 and they wanna cross and pray and I'm gonna shoot them. Of course, get on your knees and pray. Of course, I'm gonna shoot you. That is what you can have, darling. Of course, darling, I'm protecting life. Of course, darling, that is what you can have here. If not, we're gonna be in the dust. Of course, darling, that is what you can have here. Of course, darling, no one can against us. Of course, that is what you can have. So come on, of course, I'm higher than the winner. That is what you can have, darling. That is what you can see. Who is gonna win? I'm gonna shoot him. That is what you can see, darling. Of course, darling, I'm protecting life. Of course, darling, that is what you can have. That no one can against me. I'm sorry if I go a little bit too hard, but I have to protect life. Of course, who's gonna win? I'm gonna shoot him. That is what you can see here. Of course, darling.